woman goes missing in the dead of night. Her car left behind with her shoes inside, but the details don't add up. Something about this case definitely feels unfinished. So today we're diving into the disappearance of Keeslyn Roberts. What we know and what I sense. This message came to me in a dream. And the dream was that I was riding in a car in the back passenger. It was not dark night, but kind of dusk, I guess. And so I think I was in an Uber. And we were riding past the gas pumps, and I could see the gas station had a Denny's connected to it. And I said, stop here. I want to run inside. And I heard a voice say, a lot of people have gone missing there. So I decided not to go in the convenience store part, but I did want to get some food from Denny's. So I ordered online, and I figured I'd be in and out. I went into the Denny's, and as soon as I walked in, it was very strange. All the customers and the people working just stopped and looked at me like I had interrupted something. And I just let them know I was picking up my food, and they told me to wait. And so I stood off to the side. I was standing near some taller kind of tables, and there was an older gentleman sitting at one. He was a white guy, bald, tattoo on his forearm, not very tall, maybe 5'8". And again, he was a little bit on the older side. And he started making small talk with me. The usual nice day outside, stuff like that. But then he started asking more probing questions, like where was I going, why was I here, who was I with, stuff like that. And that made me uncomfortable. And so I, stepped away and waited a little bit farther away from him. And then I saw in my dream in the Denny's break room, there were 3 girls. They were all blonde girls, young, blonde, dressed in short dresses, makeup done. 2 girls were talking to the one girl, and they were saying, oh, well, it's not like we have to give him all our money, and started laughing. And the one girl, she was obviously the new girl, and she, looked scared, and she felt scared. And she was thinking of running out the back Denny's door. But there was a reason that she couldn't. Something prevented her from running out that back Denny's door. And so that's what I saw in my dream. So when I woke up, after having such a weird and real kind of dream, I decided to try to find like a gas station with a Denny's and maybe some missing persons associated. I wanted to see if this was like real, and that led me to finding the case of Keeslyn Roberts and Caleb Smith. So this is the Flying J's in Resaca, Georgia. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because, obviously I Googled it after my dream, and this gas station, does have a history of lots of missing people from here, and a lot of shady activity by the employees not cooperating with investigations, no cameras, and just a lot of other things like that. This is Keeslyn Noel Roberts. We don't know much, but here's a timeline of events. January 18th, Keeslyn entered an employee area of the Truck Stops restaurant and had a confrontation with a staff member, but she left the scene before the police came, leaving her backpack, which contained all her belongings. January 20th, 2020, her white Toyota Corolla was found abandoned in the Truck Stops parking lot by a family member. March of 2020, some of Keeslyn's clothing was discovered in a bush near a dumpster behind the truck stop. There There was an article that I saw where a family member had mentioned that Keeslyn, before her disappearance, had fallen in with the wrong crowd. She had gotten in trouble, regarding some marijuana, but whether that is relevant or not. Now I want to talk a little bit about the man who went missing before Keeslyn. His name was Caleb Nathaniel Smith. He was a 21-year-old from Chatsworth, Georgia, who also disappeared under mysterious circumstances from the Flying J. Here's a timeline of events. On January 16th of 2020, Caleb was last seen around 2 a.m. at the Flying J. He had reportedly gone there to meet someone and get gas money. Later that morning, his grandmother found his car backed into a secluded spot behind the Denny's restaurant at the truck stop. The car was unlocked with the keys on the floorboard. His cell phone, the battery was removed in the glove box and his jacket inside. And the vehicle had about a half a tank of gas. January 16th to the 17th, the Gordon County Sheriff Office conducted ground and aerial searches around the Flying J, but no trace of Caleb, and his car wasn't processed as evidence during that time. February 3rd, a citizen discovered Caleb's nude body in a marshy, overgrown area, approximately 5 miles from the truck stop. There's a lot of unanswered questions surrounding these two disappearances. With Keeslyn, there's her uncharacteristic behavior of running into the employee area of the restaurant and then, leaving before the police come and leaving all her belongings. And then her vehicle was found backed into a parking spot with the seat adjusted for the height of a much taller person. And, there's also been some discrepancy between, the last time she was seen on January 18th, and I think there's a database that has it listed, for much later, and that's never been fully explained. With Caleb, he was, his death was rolled with no foul play. I guess they chalked it up to him being high on meth and wandered off into a marshy area kind of situation. But he was found nude, but his feet were clean. So that right there doesn't make sense. His clothes and shoes were never recovered, and there was an arson incident nearby where his body was. So there's a lot of things that aren't adding up about these two disappearances. So my interpretation and impression of what I saw and experienced in the dream is that there's definitely like a human trafficking ring or something to that effect going on at this Flying J's. And I definitely believe there's employee involvement, and the guy that I was talking to in my dream is an orchestrator of some kind. He's definitely a boss guy. And so I hope this message finds who it needs to find to identify that person, maybe get some more information. But I do think Keeslyn was human trafficked. And, with Caleb, I'm not sure if that was his same situation. His might have been related to other shady activities going on, but I do think Caleb was the one who warned me about a lot of people go missing there. Let me know how you felt while watching. This is Third Eye Intel, where intuition meets investigation.